A young man, pressured by his family and influenced by extreme ideas, creates an indestructible suit of armor and takes to the streets, believing he's correcting the ills of society. The film begins with Bill, who parks his car, changes clothes, and burns his old garments, reflecting on the recent wave of violence he's experienced. It all started just 2 days ago. Bill, a 23-year-old, lives with his hardworking parents and is constantly consumed by overwhelming anger and frustration, fueled by his compulsive consumption of discouraging news and controversial influencer videos. To relieve this tension, Bill often vents his anger on a punching bag, lifts weights, or throws darts in his room. However, he maintains the facade of a calm and controlled young man in front of his parents. One morning, things take a turn when his parents tell him it's time to become independent. Bill explodes with anger, spilling juice and reminding them that the agreement was to stay at home until he saved enough to resume his studies, which he wants to finance himself. His father suggests that part of that money could go towards renting a place, and Bill accuses him of emotional manipulation. The argument intensifies, but the parents have to leave for work, promising to continue the conversation over dinner. Later, Bill drives to the city center and stops at a coffee shop, where he orders a double espresso macchiato with extra foam. The barista, quick to prepare, hands over the drink, but Bill is disappointed by the lack of foam and complains, demanding his money back. The barista refuses, and Bill leaves angrily, but returns seconds later to pick up some items from the counter, resulting in a roll of paper being thrown at his head by the barista. Subsequently, Bill is in the workshop repairing a van when his boss shows up, reminding him that lunch hour is over and he should be working. Bill asks to be treated with more respect and requests a raise, but his boss abruptly fires him. Before leaving, Bill leaves a mysterious bag inside the van. After work, Bill meets his only friend, Evan, a rebellious influencer who criticizes social norms and the system in his videos. Evan hands Bill 2 packages and asks him to stop sending things to his house, as his father doesn't like it. Evan also asks what's in the packages, but Bill only responds that it's a surprise. They decide to eat at Chicken Den, despite Evan not liking the place due to his stance on animal rights, opting to order a salad. As they eat, they discuss the next paintball game, but the conversation is interrupted when a staff member accidentally spills food on them. They laugh about the situation, then demand an apology and a refund for the meals. The waitress offers to prepare their meals again, although she lacks the authority to refund the money, prompting Bill to ask for the manager. However, Evan manages to calm him down before the situation escalates. With their corrected orders, they sit down to eat, and while watching the street traffic, Evan starts expressing his concerns about issues like overpopulation, exploitation of natural resources, pollution, and people's obsession with accumulating wealth. Bill criticizes his friend, accusing him of being overly pessimistic and just complaining without taking concrete actions. That same night, upon returning home, Bill is confronted by his parents, visibly upset by his uncommunicated absence, which led to him missing the family dinner. Bill apologizes and assures them they'll have time to talk in the morning, as he has exciting news to share. In his room, he spends time reading about various global crises and listening to radio news echoing themes of violence and crime, while assembling the bulletproof armor he had recently ordered. Between adjustments to the armor, he watches Evan's latest video, which encourages people to mobilize to change the situation. Bill, however, reacts with disdain, calling his friend naive. After finishing assembling the armor and preparing some devices, Bill prints a bunch of fake money and records a response video, mocking Evan's belief that everyone is equal and criticizing his inaction. The next morning, after a more intense workout session than usual, Bill surprises his parents during breakfast by announcing that he's decided to take a day off to focus on filling out application forms for a mechanical engineering course. The parents, though surprised, show complete support for their son's decision. As he prepares for the day, clips from Bill's video are shown, where he asserts that unlike Evan, he is willing to take action. He checks his equipment, which includes the newly assembled armor and various weapons, all ready for use. As he finishes, Bill admires himself in the mirror, dressed like a SWAT agent, reflecting on the terrifying news in Evan's speech. Bill declares that the balance of society is maintained by the survival of the fittest, promising to eliminate those he considers a burden to the world, like cancer patients who, according to him, do not contribute positively to society. Bill gets into his car, but before reaching his final destination, he makes a strategic stop to change vehicles, opting for another unmarked car. As he drives down the road, Evan's words, his parents' advice, and news reports resonate in his mind, fueling his determination. Upon arriving in the heart of the city, he locates the van he had previously prepared, discreetly parked nearby. Using a remote control, Bill activates the vehicle and starts maneuvering it aggressively, ignoring the safety of pedestrians and other drivers. Without hesitation, Bill drives the van at high speed into the front of the local police station, causing massive destruction at the entrance and injuring several officers present. The officers who manage to get back up rush to the vehicle, only to find a bomb inside. Bill detonates the explosive without delay, resulting in an explosion that reduces the police station to rubble. This creates a significant distraction, allowing him to proceed with his malicious scheme. After the attack, Bill abruptly parks his car on a busy avenue, where he calmly steps out and shoots a driver, causing a severe accident. From that moment, he randomly fires at passersby, plunging the area into total chaos. Screams of terror mix with the deafening noise of car and shop alarms as Bill continues his path of destruction. 2 police officers arrive at the scene, trying to stop him, but their bullets are ineffective against Bill's reinforced armor, and he quickly neutralizes them. Bill returns to the main avenue, shooting relentlessly at people, pausing only to reload his weapon. In a disturbing moment, he even questions a woman about her fear before taking her life. Continuing his attack, Bill enters local shops. In a coffee shop, he kills everyone present before going to the counter and repeating the order he had made earlier. The barista, unaware of who Bill really is, prepares the coffee but again fails to add the desired foam. Coldly, Bill counts to 5, giving the barista a chance to escape, and upon reaching the final number, he executes him. Shortly after, Bill bursts into a beauty salon, firing shots into the air as a warning and cornering customers and employees against the wall. He removes his helmet and drinks water, complaining about the heat of the armor while mocking the victim's fear. Some women beg for mercy, mentioning their families, which leads Bill to momentarily step back, claiming dizziness. However, he returns within seconds, cornering the victims again, and in a quick succession of shots, eliminates all witnesses who saw his face. Bill continues his journey to the local bingo club, where he finds a hall full of elderly people engrossed in their games. Unnoticed, he heads to the snack counter where, noticing his disturbed expression, the attendant chooses not to charge him for the snack. Bill settles among the players and tries his sandwich, but the taste does not please him, intensifying his irritation. Annoyed, he gets up and interrupts the game by taking the bingo card from the announcer, who calmly asks him to return it. Observing the apathy of those present, Bill concludes that there is nothing to be done there, as they seem to have already given up on life, and leaves the place. Next, he heads to the city bank. On the way, the radio broadcasts continuous coverage of his previous actions. Upon arrival, he parks carelessly and confronts the approaching security guard, shooting him before entering the building. Panic quickly sets in among the customers and staff. An employee tries to stop him from behind, but Bill overpowers him and neutralizes him with a knife. He then fires randomly, heightening the terror, and demands that the manager open the vault. As the manager hesitates, pretending not to know the code, Bill forces another employee to fill a bag with cash from the register. After alternating between understanding and insults, the manager finally opens the vault. Bill fills his bag with money and runs to his car, where he switches the full bag for another with counterfeit notes. He creates a theatrical scene by burning the counterfeit bills while proclaiming the futility of money. Leaving the burning bag on the ground, he swiftly walks away. The manager, upon leaving, encounters the burnt notes and, horrified, calls the sheriff. While driving, Bill listens to the news of his crimes and intercepts the police frequency, discovering that they are searching for him and are approaching via Cross Road. At this moment, his mother calls. He feigns being at home and deflects any discussion about the events in the city. Shortly after, he stops at Chicken Den, where he takes revenge on the employee who had messed up his order the previous day. As he prepares to leave, Evan calls him, reprimanding him for being late since they had plans to play paintball. Coldly, Bill assures him that he is finishing some tasks and will soon join him. On the way to the forest, Bill makes a strategic stop at Cross Road, where he places a powerful explosive behind the welcome sign, setting it up before repositioning himself in his car to await the events. While waiting, Evan, impatient, calls again, complaining about the delay. Bill, maintaining a playful tone, suggests Evan wait another 10 minutes, threateningly hinting that he could eliminate him if he disobeyed. As the police vehicles appear, Bill detonates the bomb. The explosion is violent, directly hitting one of the cars and causing it to spectacularly overturn, while the sheriff's car manages to avoid the blast. Realizing the sheriff's approach, Bill starts his car and initiates a high-speed chase. Shots are fired, but they miss their targets, prompting the sheriff to order an aggressive maneuver to try to intercept Bill. However, Bill retaliates, eventually managing to distance himself from the pursuers. Soon after, the sheriff and his deputies locate Bill's abandoned vehicle. While Bill watches hidden behind a fence, he warns the officers not to advance. Ignoring the warning, the officers approach and open fire, at which point Bill triggers another detonator, destroying his car. The explosion is fatal for the deputies, but the sheriff survives and enters the forest searching for Bill. In the woods, the sheriff quickly becomes disoriented. Seizing the moment of distraction, Bill appears from behind and attacks him with a knife. The sheriff attempts to defend himself with his weapon, but Bill pushes him away and flees, leaving him injured and bleeding on the ground. Bill then speeds off to meet Evan, revealing the bag full of money. While Evan is absorbed in the shock of the discovery, Bill uses a stun gun to temporarily incapacitate him. With Evan disoriented, Bill places a gun in his hand, staging a suicide scene, and shoots, portraying Evan's death as a martyrdom act he had supposedly desired. After dressing Evan in the armor, Bill discreetly retreats to a safe location, where he changes clothes and meticulously eliminates all evidence of his actions, ensuring that his involvement remains hidden and returning to the initial point, ready to start over. After disposing of any traces of the previous events, Bill changes into clean clothes and returns to the tranquility of his home, where he settles on the sofa to watch the news. When his parents arrive home, they find him seemingly relaxed and assume he has been there all day. The news on TV delivers the shocking confirmation. Evan has been identified as the perpetrator of the terrible massacre in the city. Taking advantage of the moment, Bill sadly tells his parents that Evan was his only friend, eliciting a wave of sympathy and concern from them, who choose not to question Bill about his university applications, instead offering comfort and hugs. At night, as he prepares for bed, Bill's parents silently agree to seek psychological help for him, concerned that he may be repressing his pain in a harmful way. However, in his room, Bill is preoccupied with other concerns. He meticulously packs large sums of money into a suitcase. While doing this, the news on television shows the arrest of Evan's father, a former radical from the 60s known for his anti-government positions. Authorities suspect he might have influenced Evan's actions, a claim he vehemently denies, shouting at reporters that Bill is the real culprit. However, his accusations are met with disbelief and ignored by the public. Realizing that his manipulations continue to protect him, Bill decides it is time to disappear. He leaves his house without encountering any obstacles, vanishing into the vastness of the world outside. 2 years after the massacre, a video recorded by Bill surfaces online. In it, he expresses deep cynicism about the survival of humanity, discussing the need to eliminate people to preserve natural resources. With calculated coldness, he announces his plan to control the population for the supposed good of humanity, revealing the extent of his delusions and ambitions, and thus the film concludes.